this, you still have complete control over the battlefield, and there we go. Look at the Skaven rats just going flying as all my units, my Croxagors come flying and eat. Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome back to some Skaven Laboratories. This is the new game mode that Creative Assembly are going to be releasing. It is sponsored by Intel, and that's a very good reason why it is. So basically, Skaven Laboratories, or the Laboratories as it's called on your screen right now, basically is a new game mode set out for Total War Warhammer 2, which allows you to change so many things in these custom map battles, making them crazy. You can stick the unit scale up to 10 times, meaning that you're going to have 1,000 soldiers in each individual unit. And let me just put that in comparison for the rest of it. You can have 40 unit slots in each battle for 2 people. So you could have 4 armies, each with 10 times unit scale on large armies, which is 40 unit cards, which is just insane. So many people. Now, obviously, the performance is quite an issue, but you know, it actually runs really surprisingly well. As you can see now, we're going on the lab settings, which is what I'm going to be doing for this battle you guys are about to be watching. You can see you can change everything from unit scale, leadership, reload time, penetration on missiles. You can ramp up the gravity so that units go flying on charges. You can go ahead and change the unit scaling or the entity scaling, so you'll have massive dinosaurs and legendary heroes, which is exactly what we're going to be doing again in this battle. And it's just insane. The amount of stuff you can stick on is crazy. Now, as I was saying, as we load into the battle itself, performance is still obviously an issue when you really push it. I was playing at a event when I recorded this gameplay, so I was playing on a really top-end computer, which is good news as well, because I'm currently upgrading my computer to hopefully be like one of the computers I was playing on. So hopefully in the future, when we play more of these battles, you guys will see just the, the sheer epicness of this. I mean, you can even see right now, I'm trying to fan out my line of Temple Guard right now, and it's really hard to do it. And this is only on 5 times unit scale, so I can ramp this up by another 5% and add in another 2 armies. That is just absolutely mad to me, just the sheer scale of these battles. As well as that, you guys can see, we'll zoom in a second anyway, but yeah, you guys can see just how big these Carnosaurs are and all these monsters are on the battlefield. It's crazy. But yeah, we're going back. I know I keep interrupting myself. Going back onto performance, it actually runs surprisingly well. I think this battle has around about, 40,000 on either side. No, more than that. Maybe like 45,000. Oh, we'll have a look right now, actually. So I have 10,000 Lizardmen up against 31,000 Skaven. So literally just over 40,000 soldiers on the field of battle. And before anyone's engaged, look how crisp the performance is. For 40,000 units? That is insane. Also, just look how big them Carnosaurs are with the scaling on, the entity scaling. We obviously have Krotkar as well. Just so goddamn big. And you guys will see the gravity. There's a point in the video as well at some point where we throw, I think, one of the Carnosaurs into the Skaven General, and he literally just disappears from the screen. And I'm looking up into the sky trying to find him with the 0 gravity. It's mad. So yeah, I think, I don't actually know how many, I think actually we're playing on ×8 unit scaling actually. Maybe I must have turned it up, or maybe not, because the Skaven have more numbers in their units. But yeah, again, just imagine the stuff that we're going to be able to do with this Skaven Laboratory is going to be absolutely crazy. Just seeing the Skaven Horde fighting off. And I do have another video as well, guys, coming up for you either later today or tomorrow, where it is High Elves versus Dark Elves. I think, again, around about 40,000 units on screen at one time. And we also have the entity scaling down to like the lowest. So we have a mini Tyrion and a mini Malekith, but they run at the same speed because their movement speed isn't changed. So it's hilarious just watching these really small generals, especially because it's Malekith as well, who is supposed to be such a badass, and he's just absolutely tiny compared to all the other units. Is hilarious, as the entity scaling does only affect heroes and individual kind of like monster units. So that's why, unfortunately, they don't affect the Croxagors, because it'd be really cool if they did, but unfortunately, that is not the case. So you guys will see almost immediately when these 2 massive lines clash, just the sheer amount of gravity, because I've stuck gravity all the way down, so there should be barely any when the units collide into one another. I've also gone ahead and shoved up the charge impact up really high as well, and there you go, there's their general, who you guys will see go flying. I think he's just simply popping off a few debuffs on my units, but it doesn't really matter. Again, like this is one of the really good things about the laboratory as well, the Skaven Labs, is a lot of the times, like, Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator was a really fun game, but after you've kind of done it a few times, it was very hard to really enjoy it. Whereas this, you still have complete control over the battlefield, and there we go! Look at the Skaven rats just going flying! As all my units, my Coxagors come flying, and each swing just sends these guys into the abyss. That is so awesome. Look at that. It's hilarious to watch. Now we have my Carnosaur going in as well. Again, every single hit goes flying. Now, luckily, my units are a little bit more dense, so they can kind of not get flung away. But you can see some of my Lizardmen are also moving alongside. And this, at this current moment, we have 40,000 soldiers fighting one another, and you can see it's starting to tank a little bit at the moment. However, when we do go ahead and go down to slow-mo, it runs it absolutely fine. So you can see at the moment it's struggling a little bit with 40,000 soldiers, which is completely fine. We stick it on slow-mo, and it's absolutely, like, awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing how far I can push this. You know, whether it's, you know, like 60,000 Skaven versus 10,000 Lizardmen, or just whatever. Like, I'm really excited for just how far, because slow-mo there's no frame drops whatsoever. And I mean, it's even impressive that the game was still running somewhat okay. Look at them, Skaven, the gravity, and just look at them in the sky as well, just going everywhere. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see how far I can push this. And then also, something to kind of keep in mind as well. Imagine when the modders get a hold of this as well and start creating just insane creatures, and they can start altering all these other things. It's going to be crazy, as we do have a massive croc guard going in, smashing away these rats, sending them into the sky. As well as that, also imagine when the modders can put custom maps in this. We can actually have somewhat lore-friendly, not quite, I guess, lore-friendly battles. You know, an elite line of like 1,000 dwarfs holding the walls of Karak Kadrin against like almost hundreds of thousands of, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but almost like 100,000 Skaven or orcs. So we can have such crazy-ass battles. And as you can see, the performance really isn't too bad. You can also see here, this is the gravity right now. They hit the end of the battle, and they just slowly move all the way down. It's really crazy. You just end up getting piles of bodies. I mean, just look at the battle lines as well. Because you guys, if you followed my channel for a while, you know, we used to do like these huge battles on Total War Attila, you know, like Game of Thrones mods and stuff like that, where we'd have 20,000, and it'd be super laggy, and it'd be like, it'd still be fun because you have this scale. But now that we have 40,000 soldiers fighting against one another, that's not even including like the max you can push it as well. You know, I can have another 2 armies in this battlefield to add more units. So I could literally have I could have almost 90,000 Skaven on one side up against one army, which I'm definitely going to have to go ahead and give a go. That is for sure. You can see the battle lines, the Skaven more pushing in. Now, I'm not sure if this is ever going to make its way to multiplayer, which would be crazy if it did. I think at the moment it's only custom maps or custom battles you can do it in, which is a little bit upsetting. It'd be epic if you could, you know, do it with a friend. You could really create some amazing scenarios, but you never know. They might be able to mod it into multiplayer, or, you know, CA might be looking to put it in. Now, obviously, this is going to kill your performance on your PC. I guess that's probably one of the reasons they did go ahead and team up with Intel to make this mode, so that they can really like push the length of which the game is going. And also, something you should really take into account when you're watching this and you're seeing Creative Assembly posting out stuff like this, like, obviously all the teams who are working on the future Total Wars are all, you know, somewhat working together. So this kind of performance which we're getting now with 40,000 soldiers on screen, imagine that making its way into the next big historical Total War. Like, I really hope some crossover does get there, because I feel like one of the things that Total War has always been lacking, at least in the modern ones, is the sheer scale of battles. Like, small battles are cool and all, but it definitely, though, performance on Attila really isn't very great. But again, I just can't get over all the gravity. It's absolutely hilarious. But, like, imagine in the next, whatever the next big historical Total War is, I just cannot wait. Like, I really hope they add in at least some form of this technology, because I want to be able to have, you know, tens of thousands of soldiers just going at it. In a normal battle, you know, I want a normal battle to be 20, 30, 40,000 soldiers, and it just run really well. which is going to be cool. You can see a huge little hit off there on my Lizardmen. So balance power is actually in my favor right now. I guess my elite Lizardmen force is just managing to keep the enemy at bay, and they really don't have a way of dealing with these these massive Carnosaurs. I don't want to call them 100 foot, but they are very, very big. I might have to just call them 100 foot. And this is the point I was talking about earlier, where my Carnosaur just charges into the enemy general and goes in. So we're going to go back on to normal speed right now, and now the game's had a kind of a bit of time to kind of get a hand of it. You can see just there we had about 20-something thousand soldiers left on the field of battle. And the performance is just, perfect. Just 60 frames per second. Really, really good. As we will see the enemy Skaven general smacking away with his huge mace. Something I would love to be able to do is able to actually change. Oh, here we go. He just disappears. I'm like, where the hell has he gone? Like, I'm literally lost. I'm like, did he just knock him over? And now I'm trying to look for him. I'm like, where the hell did he go? And he's just somewhere in the sky somewhere. Literally somewhere. I was like, did he go up? He must have. And now I'm just trying to find him. Because obviously he's a lot bigger because he is that, 100 times entity mass or whatever it is. I'm literally just trying to pick him out in the sky. Trying to find him. Like, where the hell could he be? I honestly just couldn't find him, so I go back to the normal screen. I'm pretty sure I go over here as well and just have a little look. As you can see, all the Skaven bodies just piling up. Some of them actually routing, as it is just raining rat bodies. You can see another one just falling down there. Continue just to, look, where the hell is he? I think I can see him, but that's a lizard soldier right there, Lizardman. And I honestly just cannot find him. He does end up spawning over in the right-hand side. That's where he ends up coming down. Because most of the Skaven and Lizardmen, or just any normal unit, normally ends up dying when it hits the ground. But obviously the generals, you can see him right there on the left of your screen. Right there. He came back down. That's how far he got knocked away, which is pretty hilarious by this Carnosaur, who's continuing just to wrap up the rest of the kills. So the battle has pretty much been won, if I'm honest. We're just going to continue to clean up whatever remains of the Skaven as more and more of our soldiers come in. It's still hilarious to watch. But yeah, going back, I just cannot wait. I know, sorry, this video has been an absolute mess. I'm really excited and I want to kind of talk about everything. But there's also a lot of stuff going on screen as well, which I obviously want to keep on top of as well. Yeah, having the custom maps where you have Karak Kadrin and you're just like on the walls with your Dwarven warriors, or even in the underways as well, just holding the line with the iron breakers and hammers and all that lovely stuff against thousands, about tens of thousands of rats. It's going to be insane. Let me know in the comments right now what's the first thing you guys are going to do when you get this game. Like, I imagine quite a few of you are going to struggle to run the top end of a battle. I mean, even their beast-ass computers were like, they were running the top end, like the times 10 when you had like literally almost 100,000 units. It was struggling to run it, but it's to be, it's understandable really, isn't it? I mean, just look at that. And this is just like a small part of the battle now. There's only 10,000 on either side. But again, look how smoothly it's running. Which is something I'm really excited for just future Total Wars. Maybe even Warhammer 3. That, because obviously they hopefully can port this over to Warhammer 3, this kind of performance. So that when we do play Warhammer 3, we can play on times 5 unit scale. And there you go, you can look at him again getting knocked away into the sky. That's hilarious. But hopefully you can actually play with these higher unit scales and be able to run it fine in the campaign. And have these huge ass armies roaming around the battlefield. And again, I can't wait for Steel Faith to get their hands on this and kind of mess around with it. You just see him flying away at the enemy general. I don't know what actually knocked him away this time. Whether it was one of my Carnosaurs or Krotgar. He was just currently fighting away. But yeah, definitely after this, make sure and go check out my High Elf and Dark Elf battle. Because that was a lot better when it comes to units just smashing into one another. Because there's not as many creatures. Whereas in this battle, I gave the Skaven Rat Ogres, which unfortunately weren't times 10 because they were multiple units. But I also myself had a ton of Carnosaurs and Bastiladons, and Krotgar obviously being massive as well. Whereas in the other battle, there's a few dragons, mitted around the battlefield, but it's mainly just Skaven. I mean, it's mainly just Dwarven. It's mainly just High Elf, Spearmen, and Dark Elf, Executioners and Swordmasters and Phoenix Guard. And you can see the rest of my army slowly making its way over here to finish off the amount of men. You can even see down there in the unit cards as well. There's still 400 men in each unit. And I think this is going to be really fun because hopefully people will start making interesting maps for the Skaven Labs as well, allowing you to do loads of crazy stuff. We're going to turn around our forces as well. Just try and kill their general. I kind of realized if I kill their general, it'll probably be good enough. We're going to send Krokgar after him, I think, as well. It's still going to be extremely hard to deal with. And it's something I also really like about the system is because the unit scales are so big, it's kind of hard to micromanage perfectly, which is kind of what I prefer. I prefer these more strategic battles, which obviously when you get to this point is pretty crazy. There's not really a lot of strategy involved. It's just like, let's go forward and clash. But units actually get stuck in and they fight for quite a while. And because units are so big, it's kind of hard to actually micromanage them. You kind of almost just have to send your blocks forward and hope for the best. And I prefer that in Total War. I hope future Total Wars are more like that. You can see I'm selecting all the boys, the Bastillodons and the Carnosaurs to move in. And I'm just surrounding this lord. I love the way he moves around with that mace. It really reminds me of a flail. It really reminds me of like a Sauron or Witch King type of thing. And you can really see the scale. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see next in the Skaven Labs. You know, what factions, what generals. Do you want to see them tiny? Do you want to see them big? Do you want to see with archer penetration on? Maybe that's a video we can do. We can do like, I don't know, like 500 eagle bolt throwers up against, you know, a massive Skaven army, but I'll stick up reload time, or I'll reduce reload time down so they just shoot out constantly and just see how the Skaven can make their way up, almost like a D-Day battle. As the general's getting ruined, you can see more of the gravity coming in. Just a wonderful way to finish off this video as the Carnosaurs continue just to hit away. The thing is though, the Carnosaurs and the Bastillodons are hitting away my own men there as well, which really isn't too great for me. But the rest of the Skaven are going to rout now. And you can see 31,000 of them have been defeated, and I only lost about 3,000 of my soldiers, which is pretty crazy. But I think it just goes to show, like, the Temple Guard in huge numbers just slaughter the Clan Rats and the Storm Vermin I gave the Skaven. And you can even look at some of the kills. They even struggle to load up the amount of kills on the left side. You know, that's thousands upon thousands of kills right there for my Carnosaur, for my Kroxigors, and all of that lovely stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already. I've still got a couple more of these videos to go. So make sure to keep an eye out for them. And I'll see you guys next time. And fish out.